Hi, 안녕하세요. My name is Marge. I am a singer-songwriter in Korea and also a composer. I wrote like twice. Do you know Talk That Talk? Yeah, I wrote the song with like Clapton and some other songs.
Today, we're here to talk about your personal journey as a singer-songwriter, starting from when you were a wee baby to now, who is someone in Korea, not only producing her own works, but also writing for K-pop groups, writing and collaborating with other producers. So the very first question is, do you remember what your very first music-related memory was?
It would be sometimes around 6 or 7, and there are a lot of piano academies here in Korea. Of course, my mom wanted me to go and play the piano. Well, it turns out I had like really good relative, and I used to copy and play the piece this kid was playing in the other room, and I remember him getting like really mad at me for it. Yeah.
And so when you were playing the piano, was that what inspired you to eventually do music in college? Or was there a specific event that happened that made you go like, okay, this is what I want to do?
No, actually my aunt was a composer. Yeah, she was majored in classical music composing. So my mom wanted me to do it also.
Wait, I feel like this is the exact opposite story of what Asians typically experience with their parents, because the parents are like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, music, no, you cannot do music. But your mom was like, do music, do music, do music.
My mother gave me up about like studying when I was young. I wasn't that good at studying. I really hated math and science. So she was smart.
She could tell that you had a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And when did you start singing?
I had a chance to study in the Philippines in my 6th grade to learn English. And at the time, my favorite show was High School Musical.
Nice!
I used to watch it all the time. I think my dream of becoming a singer started because of
from
it.
High School?
Yeah, because of Vanessa Hudgens.
So when you were in college studying composition, this entire time were you still practicing singing? Like, how did your journey from classical composing turn to pop writing?
It was like very separated part for me. I studied classical music for my university to get the title. It was so honest. Oh my god. Of course, I love Mozart.
TMI.
Yeah, TMI. It was worth it because I learned a lot of like music theory. So it was worth it, but it was painful for me because I really wanted to sing and perform. So when I become 20 years old, here, adult, I just threw everything away and all I did was sing.
So you graduated and you said, okay, I'm going down a different path. When you were studying music in college, did your relationship with music change in any way? Because I've talked with singers before and they say sometimes studying music in college ruined their love for music creation.
Oh, I always had a teacher about my composing thing. So I always have to like, teacher, can you please check my line? Can you please check my chords? That was the hardest thing because I didn't have confidence. I wasn't that sure about my music. That was the hardest thing about learning composing in school. That was like my bad habit.
Is always looking for approval because you don't have confidence in yourself.
Oh, you're good at English. Thank you.
Well, no, I know what you mean because when we study our instruments, right? We go into our lessons every day. Before that lesson, we practice, and then we wait to hear whether our professor is saying, good job, or you need to work harder.
Yeah, they're God.
But Has your confidence grown since then?
Yeah, thanks to Collapston and K-pop. K-pop is so fun.
It's such a different world. I feel like going from classical music to K-pop, you can take what you know of classical music and just do whatever you want. You don't turn in the assignment, right? And there isn't someone saying, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. You just write from the heart and you write what's fun.
It's so fun and comfortable. Makes me confident and sure. I finally found my place to be.
When listening to music, you can listen to music just as a pure human, as a fan, and then you can also listen to music to seek inspiration. Is there a songwriter or artist that you look up to when writing your own music?
Collapston? No.
He isn't in the room with you right now, like saying, say me. You know?
I like Kenzie. She's so good.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. She did K-pop for like 10 years or more. I don't know, but she's still like so hype and just like God, another God.
What is your writing process for your own music, top lining for someone like Collapston on his personal projects versus top lining for a K-pop group like Twice?
The approach and the pressure I feel for each project are quite different, but this might sound ironic, but I feel the most pressured when writing my own songs compared to writing artists like Twice. Not because they're less important, but I tend to overthink when it comes to my work, telling my story. I think a lot. But when it comes to Collapston, as a person who I respect a lot and who's very close, working on his project can be a bit challenging because it's so very personal. But I've worked with him like for 2 years almost, so I know what he likes.
So now it's a little bit easier. It comes smoother to you.
Yeah, it became a lot easier.
Writing for yourself, writing for Collapston, writing for Twice, is the end goal always similar?
Collapston and me, same. Twice,
Okay.
a little bit different. I want my dooms.
Yeah. Party, fun.
And that's why it's easier.
Well, speaking of having fun, writing for Twice, can you tell us any stories related to top lining, Talk That Talk? Was writing the song something that came quickly, which I'm guessing is yes, or was it something you spent a lot of detailed work on?
Most of the lines came out really quickly, but the point part, the talk that talk, that kamadi, talk that talk, LOVE, that part was the hardest. I wasn't able to feel that part, the bars. So woman saw me struggling and sang the line with his voice. How about love, 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 love recipe? It was love recipe. It was love, 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 love recipe, love recipe, which became the title of the song. Top line for the rest part of the song came pretty fast.
Was it all within the same session? One session?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, one session. It was quick. It was really quick. And I really loved the main, like, tell me what you want, tell me what you... I really loved that part. That was like the main. And the others, and talk that talk.
The hook, tell me what you... Did that come first?
Yeah. Collapston was playing around the chords, and he made this synth sound that we both liked, and I sang the first 4 bars.
And I'm trying to imagine what that session was like. Were you up and dancing? Were you sitting down and thinking like this?
I was like this. I was so having difficulties writing timeline back then, because I tend to overthink always.
I think that is your classical training.
Yeah.
That is 100% the classical music major in you. I totally know what that feels like because one of my reactors was like, we should write K-pop together. You can kind of sing. You should top line. And I would just sit there thinking, oh, I should add a leap here. Oh no, I should go chromatically here. And it just would not turn out well. So I'm like, I give up.
It was so painful. I was like, why can't I think of anything?
But then that sprouted out and everything followed.
Yeah.
When you were writing this song, did you know it was for Twice, or was it just top-lining another song with claps done?
It was for Twice. I know Twice really well because I listen to their songs all the time for like 7 years. I was so honored because they're singing my song. Can you believe it? When we record that song, they're coming like in front of me. Oh, they're so beautiful, you know?
Yeah. It's like sitting in the room with an angel.
Oh, yeah. And they're singing my song. Oh my God.
I wonder if you have seen all these fan comments, but the majority of the fandom say that Twice's Talk That Talk sounds very Twice. Were you surprised when you saw that kind of feedback?
No, we expected. Yeah, we wanted that reaction. Now, I kind of have a little bit of
regret?
Yeah, about being too similar to the old songs. I always want to try something new, and I really love trying new things. But at that time, I decided to do very similar thing with the back old songs. So personally, I have a little bit of, yeah. But I love the song a lot.
So where there may be regrets that you didn't write a newer sounding song for Twice, I feel like there is still merit in the fact that you wrote something that fans, like long fans of Twice, can feel so comfortable listening to. And so that made me curious of when you were reminding yourself of like Cheer Up and older Twice songs, what were you trying to capture again and write with Talk That Talk? Was it an emotion? Was it an energy?
Energy, yeah, that was energy. They have their own style, what people liked. So I really wanted to do that once more.
Yeah. How would you describe that sound?
We call that like bong. You know what bong is? That's like very Korean thing. We love like very specific chords. We love specific lines, and I'm Korean, so I have that also. So I really want to put Korean bong in the song. I listen to a lot of pop songs. I love like Ariana Grande and a lot of pop stars, but I thought that there has to be like difference between pop and K-pop. So I really tried to put bong.
And when you were singing the demo, were you trying to be each member? Did you have a member in mind for each part?
Yeah, of course. Each part, when I wrote the song, I imagined them. Nayeon, I love her voice, so she has to get the first part. So I imagined that kind of thing. And Sana has to play like a very like catchy part. She has to get the catchy part. So she got love recipe. That's also another natural thing that I did.
It came very easily. And you mentioned that you were there when they were recording their vocals. Since you just recorded as MRCH, they just naturally brought themselves, their own characteristics to when they sang? Or did you ever encourage them to sing a certain way?
We try both, actually. I thought it would be nice to have some variations at the last chorus. Na 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 na. It was like very strong at the demos. Jiho sings the melody, lip, and falsetto, right? Tell me why. nothing was decided, and we told her to try it, and that sounded amazing. So yeah, we just went with it.
Wow, the recording process is so interesting to me because the members have had the music for a certain amount of time, right? They come in and they sing their version, and then you're there just to offer like, oh, what about we try this? What about we try this? I think that's so fun.
Yeah, that's so fun. And that's really necessary for singers because they have their own style, and we can just force them to sing like this, like this. Yeah, that's no good. I'm a singer, so I always want to respect them. They're also singers, so I always say them, try this one, try this one, try whatever you want. And Jiho is really good at that. She always bring new style to us, so I love her.
And speaking of those high notes, speaking of love you, woohoo, all those high range moments, it goes to show that writing in any type of register is not something that limits your songwriting, especially in your own personal works. When writing range changes in your own music, what does that represent?
If we're talking about vocal range, I do have pretty wide vocal range. But I don't really think about them when I'm working on a song. I tend to go for whatever the music calls for. I can be very strategic at times, but I try to go with the flow.
Do you, by any chance, have a goal for yourself? Like, let's put a high note here, and then the next song, let's go even higher. And the next, like, do you ever do that?
Oh, I kind of have that. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to beat dolphins.
I think my favorite high note moment is in March Mood when you go up and up and up, you know, and it just ascends, ascends, and ascends.
Yeah. Oh, you know the song. Oh.
It's my favorite off of the album.
That's my favorite song also. We are connected, yeah. Clapton, he gave me the track and I was like, give it to me. That's mine. That's so good. Oh my god. And he gave it to me. And that part was like only like bass. Boom, 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 and nothing. And I always wanted to write a song about my mood. My mood is like always like up and down, always. That's why it's like up and up and up and up. It explains my mood when I'm happy.
And then that's why in the chorus it goes da da da, like another leap.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I'm so happy that.
So beautiful. I feel like your album Love and Fear gives their listeners so much energy to like confront 2023.
Oh, thank you.
Not only is it comforting, but it also gives us happy energy. And so I was curious, like what are your messages through your album Love and Fear that you're hoping for your listeners to pick up upon?
The album consists of 3 songs I wrote about love, and the other 3 songs about my fears. That's why the name is Love and Fear. And the 2 words can sound very opposed, right, to each other, but I think they come as like a package deal. They both are the beginning of each other. I just wanted to give some empathy and comfort for those who are in fear and for those who are in love also, because I can relate it to both feelings. These songs are from those emotions I've been feeling last few years.
And it's wonderful because it's such a summary of what your experience has been the last few years that people can start off 2023 with.
Yeah.
I think it may be fun if you can recommend specific songs from the album to end this interview. So let's say someone is scared about 2023 beginning, what songs should they listen to?
There is a song called Anxiety Tree. I was always anxious about everything because my job is very unstable, and when I do music, I always have to think. So I was so anxious when I wake up. When I wake up, I feel anxious. When I go sleep, I feel anxious all the time, and it kept grow all the time. That's why I thought it's like a tree. It kept growing. I want everybody who's anxious to cut the tree this year. So I want to recommend the song. Can I tell it in Korean?
Yeah.
불안나무는 진짜 너무나 지금 사실 외국 분들도 그러실진 모르겠지만 한국 청춘들이라면 정말 모두가 공감할 내용이지 않을까. 다들 정말 불안해하고 힘들어하고 물론 기쁜 일도 있지만 불안해하고 힘들어하는 경우가 많기 때문에 다들 그냥 그거를 불안나무라고 비유하고 좀 귀엽게 바꾸기도 하고 어떻게 귀엽잖아요. 불안이 나무처럼 자란다고 하면은. 그러니까 조금 스트레스 덜 받으면서 불안나무를 잘 잘라가자는 마음에서 적은 노래입니다. 그러니까 다들 외국에 계시는 우리 ReacttotheK 구독자분들도 만약 불안한 일이 있으시다면 조금 그냥 또 나무가 자라는구나 이렇게 생각하시고 좀 풀풀 털어버리시길. 그렇게 심각한 일이 아니라고 생각해버리세요.
I think we can end on a more love-filled note for someone who is starting a relationship or hoping to start a relationship in 2023. What's the song for them?
It's Love is a Magic is my title. Do you know the drama Modern Love from Amazon?
No.
It's like a very warm drama that I watched. And then I wrote a song. I talked about all kinds of love, like grandpa and granddaughter, me and you, and me and subscribers, all kinds of love. So I want the world to be a little bit warmer because the world lately, they are all so having a hard time because of COVID and a lot of other things. So I want the world to be more bonded.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I wrote the song.
Amazing, March. Thank you so much for your time today. I love talking with you. I have to say a huge thank you to Clapstone for connecting us.
Yeah.
Because I honestly do love your music. I love your voice so much. And
thank you.
just know so many people are in the same boat as you. So to have someone writing music for yourself that also speaks to us means so much.
You are the best interviewer I've ever met.
Oh,
thank you. It was the best interview I've ever had, and let's keep in touch.
Yes, let's keep in touch. And dear followers, if you enjoyed this interview, please follow March on her YouTube channel and on her Instagram. More music, more covers, I presume, are on their way.
Yeah, of course. Tomorrow I'm gonna film it. It's not cover actually, but it's my song. It's March Mood actually.
Yes!
Thank you for loving it.